Hello, my name is Rachel Tyndall and I'm a specialist physiotherapist working for County Durham and Darlington NHS Foundation Trust. The following exercise programme consists of evidence-based exercises designed to improve strength and balance and reduce your risk of falls. Remember to do the exercises at your own pace. You should be able to hold a conversation while exercising, and while they should be challenging, they should not cause you any pain or discomfort. We're starting our exercise programme with our warm-up to warm our bodies ready for exercise, warm up the muscles and boost circulation. We're starting with our marching exercise, turning to face our support, one hand on the support, our feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in and we're looking straight ahead. And we're starting a gentle march of the legs. Keeping one hand on the support, as you feel able to, you can take that hand away, relaxing the arms down by the side. As we march the legs, this is a slow, continuous movement, and we're going to start to feel our bodies getting warmer as we continue the exercise. We're relaxing the legs down now, bending the elbows, so the elbows are at 90, we're going to go onto our arm march. Marching the arms, the movement's coming from our shoulders, keeping that 90-degree angle at our elbow as we move the arms, looking straight ahead, keeping the length through our spine as we march our arms. Knees stay soft, tummy muscles stay pulled in, and our spine stays in that neutral position. We're now going to combine our arms and legs. We can place one hand on our support, marching the legs and marching one arm. If we're happy to, we can march both our arms, keeping straight ahead, chest lifted, and keeping that continuous movement. Feeling our bodies getting warmer now. Resting the arms and legs back down, hands back onto our support. Our next exercise is our head movements. We're going to place both hands onto our support, feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, chest lifted. We're turning to look over our right shoulder, coming back to the centre and then turning to look over our left shoulder and then back to the centre. We're now going to do 5 repetitions to each side. Keeping the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears as we move the head and moving in our own range. Our chest stays lifted throughout the exercise and we're keeping our length through the spine. And that's our 5 repetitions. Our next exercise is our neck movements. For this exercise, we're going to stand behind our support, but we're not holding onto the support. We're placing our hand onto our chin, keeping our feet hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, our tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to use our hand to slowly guide our chin back, feeling the length into our neck and then relax. We're going to now do 5 repetitions. Using our hand to guide our chin straight back, so we're not allowing the chin to go up or down as the chin moves backwards. And as it moves back, we're going to feel that length in our neck, looking straight ahead throughout the exercise. and that's our 5 repetitions. Our next exercise is our trunk movements. For this exercise, we're going to place our hands across our chest. Our feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. We're going to rotate round to our right, coming back to the centre, and then round to our left and back to the centre. We're now going to do 5 repetitions to each side. As we rotate round, we're leading with our trunk, so lifting up through the trunk before we rotate, and it's our shoulders and head that rotate round. Our hips stay facing forwards throughout the exercise. Keeping those shoulders relaxed down away from the ears as we rotate from side to side. And that's our 5 repetitions to each side. Our next exercise is our back extension. We're staying in standing with our feet hip distance apart, knees are soft, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to place our hands at the top of our bottom, keeping those shoulders relaxed down. We're gently arching the lower back and then return to that starting position. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. This is a gentle arching of the back, a slow controlled movement. And as we arch the back, we're going to keep looking straight ahead. On to our 5th repetition, and then back up into standing, relaxing the arms back down by our side. Our next exercise is our ankle movements. Facing our support, we're going to place 2 hands on our support. Feet are hip distance apart, knees are soft, spine's into neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. Starting on our right side, we're going to place our right heel onto the floor and then place our toe on the same spot that we placed our heel. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. Looking straight ahead throughout the movement, keeping that neutral spine, keeping the shoulders relaxed and keeping 2 hands on the support as we mobilise our ankle. That's our 5 repetitions on our right side. We're now going to do the same on our left side. Again, placing the heel onto the floor and then the toe onto that same spot. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. Keeping our right knee soft, looking straight ahead with 2 hands on our support. And that's our 5 repetitions. Our first exercise for our dynamic endurance is our marching. We're starting with our feet hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to start marching with the legs to begin with. Developing a slow, steady, continuous movement to begin. Once we're happy with our legs, we're going to bring our arms in, swinging the arms as we march the legs. Looking straight ahead throughout the exercise to keep the length through our spine, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in. When we feel we want to increase the effort of the exercise, we can lift our knees higher and we can increase the swing in the arms. And we're going to continue this marching for up to 2 minutes. straight into our next exercise, our side taps, tapping alternate toes out to the side. Again, developing a steady, continuous rhythm. Once we're happy with the movement in our legs, we're going to bring our arms in, curling the arms as the toes tap out to the side. Still keeping the tummy muscles pulled in, looking straight ahead to keep that length through the spine as we do our side taps. We're going to continue for up to 2 minutes. And again, straight into our next exercise, we're going on to our single side steps now. Stepping 1 foot out to the side and then back again. Once we're happy with what our legs are doing, we're going to bring in our arm curls. Keeping our tummy muscles pulled in and developing that steady, continuous rhythm. And again, we're going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. We're going straight into our double side step now, so we're now taking 2 steps out to the side and then back again. Again, when we're happy with what our legs are doing, we're going to bring in our arm curls, developing that steady, continuous rhythm, keeping up nice and tall in the spine, tummy muscles pulled in throughout the exercise. I'm going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Straight into our next exercise, our wide base sway. Our feet are just past shoulder distance apart for this one, and we're moving the weight from one leg to the other, lifting the heel up away from the floor as we move the weight across. Bringing our arms in as you feel able to, swaying the arms as we lift the opposite heel up away from the floor. And thinking about our breathing, we should be feeling our breathing increase now, but we shouldn't be out of breath. Just thinking about the talk test while we do these endurance exercises to make sure that you're working at the right level. We're going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Straight into our next exercise, our lunges. We're going to lunge with alternate legs, aiming to build up to 10 repetitions on each leg. Taking a half step forwards and just stepping forwards as far as you feel able to, increasing the effort of the exercise by increasing the size of the step. Keeping the tummy muscles pulled in, trying to look straight ahead if we can throughout the exercise to keep our length through our spine, and still thinking about our breathing. So we should be feeling our breathing increase, but we should still be able to talk. We shouldn't feel out of breath. We're going to finish our dynamic endurance exercises with our cool down. We're going to use our marching to cool down. Marching for 2 minutes, we're going to gradually reduce the effort that we're working at to cool our bodies down. So just reducing the knee height, reducing the swing of the arms, and using this marching to cool our bodies down after our dynamic endurance exercises. Bringing the arms to rest down by the side as we continue to gently march the legs, slowly reducing the height of our knees as we start to feel our breathing settle and we start to cool down. We're now going to do our balance exercises. With these exercises, we're now aiming to do these without support, but our support will be there for you to use as you need it. We're starting with our knee bends, turning to face our support, but relaxing the arms down by our side. Feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, our spine's into neutral, we're pulling our tummy muscles in, chest lifted so we can look straight ahead. We're going to bend at the knee and hips to come into our sitting position and then come back up into standing. We're going to be doing 10 repetitions. Bending at the knee and hips, the bottom comes back as if we're going to sit onto a chair and then slowly straightening back up into standing. We can increase the size of the movement as you feel able to if you want to increase the challenge of the exercise. But as we increase the bend at our knee and hip, we're keeping our heels resting down onto the floor. We're not allowing those heels to lift up away from the floor. Keeping our chest lifted so we keep the length through our spine, looking straight ahead throughout the exercise. Tummy muscles stay pulled in, chest stays lifted up. And that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our heel toe stand. We're going to be standing side onto our support now. We're aiming to do this exercise without using the support, but it is there if you need it. We're starting with our feet hip distance apart, the knees are soft, our spine's in neutral, the tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to place our outside leg in front of our inside leg to form a straight line, moving the weight through the front leg so the weight feels evenly spread between both the feet, and we're going to hold this stand for 30 seconds. As we hold, we're thinking about looking straight ahead, keeping the length through our spine, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in as well as we hold this heel toe stand. The support's to our side. We're aiming to do the exercise without support, but we can use it as you need to. That's our 30 seconds. We're going to bring the foot back so our feet are hip distance apart. We're now going to place our inside foot in front of the outside foot to form a straight line, and again we're going to hold this for our 30 seconds. Bringing the weight forwards through the front leg to get the weight evenly spread between both the feet. Tummy muscles are pulled in and we're looking straight ahead. We're keeping that length through the spine. Again, the support's there as you need it, but we're aiming to do this exercise without support. That's our 30 seconds, bringing our feet back to hip distance apart. Our next exercise is our one leg stand. For this exercise, we're aiming to hold our one leg stand for 30 seconds. We're going to stand sideways onto our support, but we're trying to do the exercise without our support. It is there if you need it, if you start to feel unsteady. We're starting with our feet hip distance apart. The knees are soft, our spine's into neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to take the weight onto our inside leg to bring the heel up towards the bottom on the outside leg to come into our one leg stand. And we're going to hold this stand for 30 seconds, keeping our supporting knees soft, keeping the tummy muscles pulled in. We're looking straight ahead throughout the exercise to keep that feeling of length going through our spine. And our arms are relaxed down by the side, only using the support if we need to. That's our 30 seconds. We're going to bring that outside leg back down. We're now going to take the weight onto our outside leg to bring the heel up towards the bottom on the inside leg. Again, we're going to hold this one leg stand for our 30 seconds, making sure our supporting knee's soft, tummy muscles are still pulled in. We're looking straight ahead to keep that length through our spine and keeping the arms relaxed down by our side, only using the support if we need to. That's our 30 seconds. We're going to bring that foot back down to bring our feet back to hip distance. Our next exercise is our sideways walking. This is a travelling balance exercise. So we're going to be doing this exercise at our kitchen bench, using the support as you need to. We'll move along the kitchen bench as far as you are able to, and then we'll move back and we'll repeat that twice. We're going to have our hands on our hips for this exercise, and if we want to increase the challenge of the exercise, we can increase the size of our steps. We're starting facing our support, hands onto our hips, feet to hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, pulling the tummy muscles in. We're looking straight ahead with the chest lifted, and we're going to take our sideways steps along our support. And we're going to repeat those steps. And coming back to our support, resting the arms back down by our side. Our next exercise is our backwards walking. This is another travelling exercise that we're going to be using our kitchen bench for support as you need it. We are aiming to do this backwards walking without support, resting our arms down by our side. We're going to come to stand side on ways to the support, feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, our tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're going to be looking straight ahead throughout the exercise. We're going to take our steps backwards. Stepping round. We're going to take our backward steps back. And we're going to repeat that movement, increasing the size of the movement as you feel able to increase the challenge of the exercise. Looking straight ahead throughout the movement. Our next exercise is our toe walking, another travelling balance exercise that we're going to do along our kitchen workbench, but we're going to aim to do this without support. Step into the side of our support, keeping the arms relaxed down by our side. Feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, our spine's in neutral, our tummy muscles are pulled in. We're looking straight ahead, keeping our chest lifted. We're going to come up onto the toes, so the weight's on the big toe and the second toe, and we're going to move along on our toes to the end of our support. Bringing our heels back down and stepping round. Coming back up onto our toes to move along the support. And we're going to repeat that. Back up onto the toes, increasing the size of the movement if you want to increase the challenge of the exercise. Our next exercise is our heel walking. This is another travelling balance exercise that we're going to use the kitchen bench for support. With this exercise, we're aiming to gradually reduce the support that we're using as we move through the exercise. We're going to come to stand side onto our support, placing one hand onto the support. Feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead. We're going to lift the toes up now to come onto our heels, and we're going to take some small steps forward along our support on our heels. Bringing the toes back down and stepping round. We're coming back up onto our heels and moving back along our support. Bringing our toes back down, stepping round. As we feel able to, we can reduce the support. We can rest our arms down by our side, coming back onto our heels and moving along the support. Keeping looking straight ahead throughout the exercise. Our next exercise is our heel toe walking. This is another balance exercise, and we're going to be using our kitchen bench for support. Moving along the bench as far as you're able to, and then walking back, and we'll repeat that twice. We're standing sideways onto our support with one hand onto the bench. Feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's into neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead. We're going to bring our outside foot in front of our inside foot to form a straight line, and we're going to walk along our support. Stepping round, we're going to come back along the support. As you feel able to, you can reduce the amount of support that you're using, resting the arms back down by the side and doing that heel toe walk along the support. Looking straight ahead throughout the exercise. And then bringing the feet back to hip distance apart. Our next exercise is progressing on from our heel toe walking to our backwards heel toe walking. We're going to use the kitchen bench for support, starting with our feet hip distance apart, the knees are soft, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're into our neutral spine position. We're going to place one foot behind the other to move along the support. Reducing the support as you feel able to, still moving along the kitchen bench. And bringing the feet back to hip distance apart. Our next set of exercises are our dynamic balance exercises, and these aim to add an extra challenge. We're going to start with our lunges on our right side. We're going to use the support to the side, placing one hand on the support. With our right leg, we're going to take a lunge forwards and then back, to the side and then back, and then diagonally backwards and bringing the feet back to hip distance. We're going to do 3 on this right side. Lunging forwards, to the side and back, and again going forwards, to the side and back. This last one, if you feel able to, you can do without the support, resting the arms down by the side, going forwards, to the side and back, and coming back up into standing. And now we're going to repeat the same exercise on our left side now. Side onto the support, one hand on the support. On that left leg, lunging forwards, to the side and then back. We're going to do 2 more repetitions. On this last repetition, we can take our hand off the support as you feel able to, lunging forwards, to the side and back, and coming back up into standing. Our next exercise is our upward reach. For this exercise, we're going to be facing our support, feet to hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to come up onto our toes as we lift our left arm up, and then slowly bringing the heels back down as we bring the left arm back down. And then we'll do the same on the right side. We're now going to do 2 repetitions on each side, bringing the heels up as we reach the left arm up, slowly controlling the heels and the arm back down. Looking straight ahead throughout the exercise, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in and our spine in neutral. On this next one, if we can, we're going to reach both arms up as we come up onto our toes and then back down. And we're going to repeat that. Coming up onto the toes, reaching both arms up, and then slowly bringing the arms back down as we bring the heels back down onto the floor. We're going to come to stand sideways onto our support, placing one hand onto the support. From there, we're going to step forwards, placing the shoe or slipper down onto the floor, and then coming back up. We're then going to step forwards with the opposite leg to pick the shoe up and come back up into standing. We're going to repeat that. Alternating legs as we pick up the object and place it back down. If we're happy to, we can reduce the support, resting the arm down by the side as we place the shoe down and then back up, and as we pick the shoe back up. We're going to leave the shoe down on the floor now to move on to our next exercise, stepping over an object. Again, holding onto our support, we're going to step over the shoe, turning round and then step back. We're stepping over the shoe, turning round and stepping back. Again, each time trying to alternate the foot that we step over with. For this next one, if you feel able to, you can reduce the support, resting the arms down by the side, stepping over the shoe, turning round and then stepping back. Reducing the amount of support while you do the exercise as you feel able to. And from there we can hold on to our support to bend down and pick our shoe or slipper back up. We're now moving on to our strengthening exercises. With all these exercises, we'll be doing 5 repetitions, slowly building up to 10 repetitions as you feel able to. Starting with our lower limb exercises, we're doing our front knee strengthener, moving our bottom to the back of the chair so that our back's supported, hands are resting onto our thighs. Our feet are hip distance apart, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to slowly straighten our right leg out in front of us, going up for a count of 3 and down for a count of 5. We're now going to start our 5 repetitions on this right side. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we're moving the leg, we're going to count out loud to ensure that we're not holding our breath, as we do this front knee strengthener. We're straightening the leg out in front of us, but we're keeping the knee soft, so we're not locking our knee joint to protect that knee joint. And we should be now feeling the muscle working in the front of our thigh. That's our 5 repetitions. If that feels enough of a challenge, we're going to stop and rest, but continuing up to 10 repetitions as you feel able to. Going up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking straight ahead throughout the exercise, keeping the chest lifted, keeping the length in our spine, tummy muscles are pulled in. That's our 10 repetitions on our right side. We're now going to move to start with our 5 repetitions on our left side. Straightening that leg away from us, up for a count of 3 and down for a count of 5. Again, we're counting out loud as we take the leg up and as the leg comes back down to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we move the leg. Keeping our spine in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in as we do this front knee strengthener, and feeling the muscle working in the front of this left thigh now. That's our 5 repetitions. Rest in there as you need to, or we can continue up to 10 as you feel able to. Continuing to look straight ahead with the chest lifted and counting up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's our 10 repetitions on that left side. Our next exercise is our back knee strengthener, and for this exercise we're going to come up into standing. Moving our bottom to the front third of the chair, our feet are hip distance apart, flat on the floor, placing our hands to the side of the chair. We're pushing through our legs, through our arms to come up into standing. Pedaling our feet now, we're back up in standing to get the blood flowing, and stepping round to behind our support, placing both hands onto that support. Our feet are hip distance apart, knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead, keeping our chest lifted. We're going to take the weight onto our left leg now, keeping the left knee soft, slowly bringing the heel up towards the bottom for a count of 3 and down for a count of 5. We're now going to do 5 repetitions on that right side. The weight comes over onto our left leg, the right heel comes up for 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As that right foot comes back down, we take the weight back onto that right foot before we move the weight back to our left leg to bring that right heel up towards the bottom. We're going to count out loud, up for 3 and down for 5 to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we perform the exercise. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 5 repetitions. Stopping there if that's enough of a challenge, or continuing adding repetitions in up to 10. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using the support, using our left leg to keep that centered position as we bring our right heel up towards the bottom, keeping the chest lifted, looking straight ahead so we keep that length through the spine, and feeling the muscle working now in the back of our leg. And that's our 10 repetitions on the right side. We're now going to move on to our left side, taking the weight onto the right leg now, keeping that right knee soft, bringing that left heel up towards the bottom for a count of 3 and down for a count of 5. We're going to do 5 repetitions on this left side. Coming up for 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bringing the weight back onto that left leg between repetitions. And we're counting out up for 3 and down for 5 as we do the exercise to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we move our left leg. That's our 5 repetitions on this left side. Stopping there if that feels enough of a challenge, or continuing to increase those repetitions, aiming for 10 repetitions on this left side. Using the support, using our right leg to keep ourselves centered as we bring this left heel up towards the bottom. Coming up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's our 10 repetitions on our left side. Our next exercise is our side hip strengthener. For this exercise, we're going to have 2 hands on our support, feet are hip distance apart, the knees are soft, spine's into neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead, keeping our chest lifted. We're moving the weight onto our left leg, keeping our knees soft, to bring our right leg out to the side for a count of 3 and back in for a count of 5. We're now going to do 5 repetitions on this right leg, going up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bringing the weight back onto that right leg between repetitions and then moving the weight across to the left leg to bring our right leg out to the side. And we're going to count out loud as we take the leg out to the side and as the leg comes back in to ensure that we're not holding our breath while we do the exercise. Leading with our ankles so our toes stay pointing forwards throughout the movement. That's our 5 repetitions, resting there as you need to, or continuing to increase your repetitions, building up to 10. Looking straight ahead throughout the exercise, so we're keeping our length through our spine, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in, and toes are pointing forwards on this right leg throughout the exercise. Going up for 3 and back in for 5. Going up for 1, 2, 3 and back in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 10 repetitions on our right side. We're now going to change to do our left side. The weight's now going to go onto our right leg to take our left leg out to the side for 1, 2, 3 and back in for 5. We're now going to do 5 repetitions on this left side, going up for 1, 2, 3 and in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still counting out loud as we take the leg out and as the leg comes back in, so we're not holding our breath while we do this exercise. Leading with the ankle so the toes stay pointing forwards throughout the exercise. That's our 5 repetitions on our left side, so resting there as you need to or increasing the repetitions, building up to 10. Using the support, using our right leg to keep that central position as we take the left leg out to the side. And keeping our tummy muscles pulled in, chest lifted, looking straight ahead as we move our left leg. And that's our 10 repetitions on our left side. Our next exercise is our heel raises to work the backs of our legs. 2 hands on our support, our feet are hip distance apart, knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead. We're slowly bringing our heels up away from the floor for a count of 3 and then down for a count of 5. We're now going to do 5 repetitions, coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting out loud as we do the movement to ensure that we're not holding our breath while we do our heel raises, and thinking about the weight coming on the big toe and the second toe as we lift the heels up to stop our ankles from rolling out. Coming up for 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking straight ahead throughout the movement, keeping our chest lifted. That's our 5 repetitions, resting there as we need to, or can carry on up to 10 repetitions. Coming up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feeling the muscles working in our calves now. Shoulders stay relaxed down away from our ears. Coming up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our toe raises to work the fronts of the legs now. 2 hands on our support, our feet are hip distance apart, knees are soft, spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're looking straight ahead. We're going to slowly lift the toes up away from the floor for a count of 3, and then take the toes back down onto the floor for a count of 3. We're now going to do 5 repetitions, coming up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3. Counting out loud as we lift the toes up to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we do the movement, and keeping our bottom tucked in so our hips stay over our ankles as we lift the toes up away from the floor. Coming up for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3. That's our 5 repetitions. We can rest there as we need to, or we can continue to increase our repetitions, working up to 10. Shoulders stay relaxed down away from the ears as we keep 2 hands onto our support. Lifting those toes for 1, 2, 3, and down for 1, 2, 3. And that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our outer thigh strengthener to work the muscles down the outside of the thighs. We're going to start with 5 repetitions, building up to 10 repetitions as you feel able. Moving to the front third of the chair, starting with the feet hip distance apart, spine's in neutral, the tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to bring the feet and knees together, lifting the heels up away from the floor. We're going to wrap the band around the thighs. Placing the hands onto the band to secure the band in place and bringing the heels back down onto the floor. Stepping the toes out to the side and then our heels, so we're starting with our feet hip distance apart. We're going to take our legs away from each other, keeping the feet flat on the floor, and we're going to hold there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly control the legs back in. Taking the thighs away from each other again, feeling the resistance of the band. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back in. And we're going to aim to count out loud as we hold for the 5 seconds so that we're not holding our breath as we perform the exercises. Making sure that we keep our tummy muscles pulled in, we keep that length through our spine. Hold in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back in. Making sure we keep our feet flat onto the floor as we take the legs out to the side against that resistance of the band. Taking the legs out to the side, holding there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing the legs back in, and that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our front thigh strengthener. For this exercise, we're going to be sat at the back of the chair, so our spine's supported. Feet are hip distance apart, the tummy muscles are pulled in and we're in our neutral spine position. We're going to step our leg forwards to come onto our heels, pulling the toes up, and we're going to place the band around the ball of the foot. Stepping the foot back so the foot's flat onto the floor and feet are still hip distance apart. Our hands are level with the knees, the thumbs are forwards and the ponytail of the band is to the back. We should feel a bit of tension onto the band. From there, we're going to lift the foot an inch up away from the floor. We're going to bring our hands to our hips and then we're straightening the leg out against the resistance of the band and we're going to hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. And we're aiming to do 10 repetitions on this leg. Building up to 10 repetitions as you feel able to. Keeping up nice and tall, keeping back in the chair, keeping our spine in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. Counting out loud as we hold the exercise for our 5 seconds so that we're not holding our breath as we perform the movement. And that's our 10 repetitions on that side. We're going to take the band out to do our opposite leg, placing the foot forward, so we're coming up onto the heel and placing the band around the ball of the foot. Stepping the foot back so the feet are hip distance apart. Hands are level with the knees, thumbs are facing forwards and we've got the ponytail of the band at the back and we should feel a bit of tension onto the band. From there, we're going to lift the foot an inch up away from the floor, bringing the hands to the hips and then straightening the leg out against the resistance of the band and we're holding for our 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. And we're aiming to do 10 repetitions on this side. Counting out loud as we hold for the 5 seconds so that we're not holding our breath as we perform the movement. And making sure we keep back in the chair so our spine's supported. We're keeping that neutral spine position. We're keeping the tummy muscles pulled in. Straightening the leg out, holding there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back in. And that's our 10 repetitions. We're now going to do our upper body strengthening exercises. With all these exercises, we're going to do 5 repetitions, building up to 10 repetitions as you feel able to. And we're going to be using our resistance band for these exercises. Our first exercise is our upper back strengthener. For this exercise, we're moving to the front third of our chair. Our feet are flat onto the floor and hip distance apart. Our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, and we're placing the band across our thighs. From there, we're going to scoop the band up so our palms are facing up towards the ceiling, holding gently onto the band with our hands fist width apart. Elbows are tucked into our side, shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. We're going to pull the hands apart on the band, feeling that tension, then squeezing the shoulder blades together to bring the band in towards our tummy. Holding there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then relaxing the arms, resting the band back down onto our thighs. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. Pulling the hands apart on the band, squeezing the shoulder blades together, the band comes into the tummy, we'll hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax. And as we do the exercise, as we hold for our 5 seconds, we're going to count those 5 seconds out loud to ensure that we're not holding our breath while we do the movement. As we squeeze our shoulder blades together, we're keeping our shoulders down away from the ears. So we're not allowing the shoulders to move up towards the ears as the arms move back with the band. And we're keeping our elbows tucked in to our side throughout the exercise. That's our 5 repetitions. So rest in there as you need to, or continue on increasing your repetitions, aiming to go up to 10. Squeezing the shoulder blades together to bring the band in towards the tummy, holding there for 5 seconds and then relaxing the band back down. Keeping our neutral spine position, keeping those tummy muscles pulled in throughout the exercise. We're looking straight ahead so we keep our length through our spine as we move our upper body. Squeezing the shoulder blades together for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then relaxing the band back down, and that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our front arm strengthener. For this exercise, we're sat at the front of our chair. We're going to keep our feet flat onto the floor but step our feet back slightly to place the band down in front of our feet, with the majority of the band to the right side. 1 foot at a time, we're going to step our feet onto the band to keep the band in place, still keeping our feet hip distance apart. Our right hand is level with our right knee. We've got the tail of the band at the front with our thumb on the top. Our left hand is resting down onto our left thigh. We're starting with a bit of tension on the band and our arm is straight. From there, for a count of 3, we're going to bring the hand up towards our shoulder and then straighten the arm back out again for a count of 3. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3. As we straighten the arm out, we're still keeping our elbow soft to protect that elbow joint, and we're keeping the elbow tucked in towards our trunk as we perform the exercise. We're counting out loud, going up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3, just to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we move this right arm. Keeping our neutral spine, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in, and we're keeping our chest lifted to keep that length through our spine. That's our 5 repetitions. We're now going to continue on to do 10 repetitions as you feel able to. Bringing the hand towards the shoulder for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3. Straightening the arm but keeping that elbow soft. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3. That's our 10 repetitions on the right side. We're now going to step off the band, stepping our feet back. We're placing the band back down in front of us, but this time the majority of the band's to the left side. Placing 1 foot onto the band and then the other to keep that band secure. Feet are still hip distance apart, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. Our left hand is level with our left knee. The tail of the band is at the front and our thumbs on the top. Resting our right hand onto the right thigh. Again, we're going to go up for a count of 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do our 5 repetitions now on this left side. Counting out loud so that we're not holding our breath as we do the movement, and keeping that elbow tucked in towards our trunk as we bend and straighten our left arm. Coming up for 1, 2, 3 and down for 1, 2, 3. Keeping our tummy muscles pulled in, looking straight ahead, chest lifted to keep that length in our spine. That's our 5 repetitions. We're going to rest there as you need to, or carry on to do your 10 repetitions as you feel able to. We're still counting out loud, so we're not holding our breath as we do the exercise. And keeping our chest lifted, looking straight ahead. Coming up for 1, 2, 3, and straightening the arm for 1, 2, 3. And that's our 10 repetitions on that left side. Our next exercise is our back arm strengthener. For this exercise, we're going to be sat at the front of the chair. Our feet are hip distance apart, and we're going to step our feet back slightly to place the band onto the floor in front of our feet, with the majority of the band to the right side. Placing one foot at a time onto the band to secure the band in place. We're going to have our right hand level with our right knee and a bit of tension onto the band. We've got our thumb on top and then the tail of the band at the back. Left hand rests down onto our left thigh. Our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. From there, we're going to take the arm behind us, keeping the arm straight. We're taking the arm as far back as you feel able to, and then we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bring the arm back to that starting point. We're now going to do 5 repetitions on this right side. Leading back with our little finger, going as far back as you can, and holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back to that starting position. As we do the hold, we're going to count out loud those 5 seconds to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we do the movement, and making sure we're keeping that shoulder down away from the ear as we take the arm back. Keeping that neutral spine position, keeping our tummy muscles pulled in. Keeping the arm straight, but we're keeping the elbows soft to protect that elbow joint. That's our 5 repetitions. We're resting there as we need to, or increasing our repetitions up to 10. Still with that 5-second hold, and still counting out loud those 5 seconds to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we hold the position. Shoulders stay relaxed down away from the ears, keeping our chest lifted to keep that length through our spine. Tummy muscles are pulled in. Taking our arm back, we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relaxing that arm back to that starting position. That's 10 repetitions on our right side. We're now going to step off the band. We're placing the band back onto the floor, but now the majority of the band's to the left side. Placing one foot onto the band and then the other to secure that band in place. This time we're holding onto the band with our left hand. The left hand's level with the left knee. Our arms straight, thumbs facing forwards, the tail of the band is at the back. Spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in, our chest lifted so we've got that length through our spine, and we're just going to rest our right hand onto our right thigh above the knee. From there, leading with our little finger, keeping the arm straight, we're taking the arm behind us, holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back. Again, we're taking that arm behind us, we're holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back. As we do that hold, we're going to count our 5 seconds to ensure that we're not holding our breath while we hold the movement. And we're keeping our shoulder relaxed down away from the ear throughout the exercise. The arm stays straight, but we're keeping the elbows soft to protect that elbow joint. That's our 5 repetitions on this left side. Rest in there as you need to, or we can increase the number of repetitions, building up to 10. Making sure we're still in our neutral spine, our tummy muscles are still pulled in. We've got that feeling of length through our spine. And we're counting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as we hold the arm. Leading with the little finger as we take the arm back. Holding there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bringing the arm back, and that's our 10 repetitions on our left side. Our next exercise is our chest strengthener. For this exercise, we're going to be sat towards the back of the chair, so our spine supported, feet are hip distance apart, spine's in neutral, our tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to place the band around the back of the chair, holding onto the band, so we've got the band in each hand. Elbows are tucked in towards the ribs. From there, we're going to straighten the arms away from us, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly control the arms back in. We're going to do 10 repetitions. Hold in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bringing the arms back in. As we hold for our 5 seconds, we're going to count out loud so we're not holding our breath as we perform the movement. And as we straighten the arms out, although we're straightening the arms, we're still keeping the elbows soft, so we're not locking out our elbow joints. And making sure that we keep our shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. So as the arms straighten away from us, we're not allowing the ears to move up towards the shoulders. Keeping up nice and tall, keeping that neutral spine position, tummy muscles pulled in throughout the exercise. And that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our wrist strengthener. For this exercise, we're going to be sat at the front third of our chair. Our feet are flat onto the floor, hip distance apart. Our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to take our band and fold our band in half and then fold it again. We're going to place one hand on the bottom of the band and then our other hand on top of that bottom hand, keeping our elbows tucked into the side. We're going to turn our wrists in and then pull our hands apart on the band, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax. We're now going to do 5 repetitions. So turning the wrists in, pulling the hands apart on the band, holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we do that 5-second hold, we're going to count out loud to ensure that we're not holding our breath as we do the movement. And we're keeping our elbows tucked into the side throughout the exercise. Shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. Keeping our chest lifted, looking straight ahead to keep that length through our spine. That's our 5 repetitions. Rest in there as we need to, or increase in repetitions as you feel able to, building up to 10 repetitions. Making sure our spine's still in neutral, our tummy muscles are pulled in. And holding that movement for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax down. Keeping our elbows tucked in. Holding there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relaxing the arms, and that's our 10 repetitions. Our next exercise is our sit to stand, and we're going to be doing 10 repetitions of this one. We need to start at the front of the chair, moving the bottom forwards to come to the front third of the chair. Feet are flat onto the floor and hip distance apart. Spine's in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. We're looking straight ahead, keeping our chest lifted. We're going to place one hand onto the chair and have one hand resting onto our thigh. From there, we're going to push up through our legs to come up into standing. Stepping our legs back till we feel the chair on the back of our legs, and then slowly controlling us back down into the chair. We're going to do 10 repetitions. Pushing up through the arms and leg as we come up into standing, stepping back till we feel the chair on the back of the legs and slowly controlling ourselves back into sitting. Moving to the front third of the chair before we go into our stand. Keeping our tummy muscles pulled in, keep lifted up through our chest as we come up into standing. And feeling for the back of the chair with our legs before we bring ourselves into sitting. Our next repetitions, we're now going to place both hands onto our thighs, moving forwards in the chair to the front third. We're going to push up through the legs to come up into standing now, stepping the feet back as we come back down into sitting. As we feel able to, we can do all 10 repetitions without using our arms, just reducing the amount of support as you feel able to, working at your own level. Moving to the front of the chair before we come up into standing, and then moving back, feeling the chair on the back of the legs, controlling ourselves back down into sitting. And that's our 10 repetitions. Our next set of exercises are Pilates-based exercises aimed at working our core stability muscles and also our glutes muscles. These exercises are going to be performed on the floor, on a mat if you have one, and using a small towel as a headrest. If you have any difficulty getting down onto the floor or back up again from the floor, you can use our backward chaining technique, and there is a video available demonstrating this technique for you. We're going to bring ourselves down into line now onto our mats, with our head resting down onto the towel, bending the knees so the feet are flat onto the floor, and we're going to bring our feet together. Stepping the toes out to the side and then the heels so the feet are hip distance apart and our knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to start with some pelvic tilt. So we're just tilting our pelvis forwards and backwards, flattening the back against the mat and arching the back away from the mat. Getting a feel of the range of movement in our pelvis and also starting to loosen up the lower back. On this next one, we're going to tilt the pelvis as far forwards as we can. We're going to tilt the pelvis as far back, and then we're going to come to rest in the middle of those two positions to bring us into our neutral spine position. In this position, we should be able to feel like we could run a silk scarf between our back and the mat, so we're not completely collapsed down onto the mat. The arms are relaxed down by the side. We're going to soften our breastbone so we're not flaring our rib cage, opening out across the collarbones, allowing the shoulders to relax down towards the mat and gliding the shoulder blades down towards the waist, reaching the fingertips down towards the end of the mat and feeling the shoulders relaxing down away from the ears. From there, we're going to think about our neck position. So we're going to imagine we've got a peach between the chin and the chest that we want to keep in place, but we don't want to squash. So we may feel we need to nod the chin forward slightly to bring us into our neutral neck position. And we're now into our Pilates rest position. We're now going to think about our breathing. We're breathing in through the nose as far as we can, feeling the rib cage coming up and out. When you can't breathe any more air in through the nose, we're going to slowly breathe out through the mouth, allowing the rib cage to relax back down. Again, we're going to take a breath in through the nose as far as we can. As we breathe out now, we're going to think about drawing the belly button down towards the spine to start to engage our deep abdominals. Again, we're taking a breath in through the nose as far as we can. Then as we breathe out, we're drawing the belly button down towards the spine, feeling those deep abdominals engage. And we're going to continue this exercise for up to a minute. Our next exercise is our one leg stretch. We're going to begin this exercise in our rest position. Our feet are hip distance apart, knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts to bring ourselves into our neutral spine position. So just resting between those two movements to gain that neutral spine position. The breastbone's soft so we don't feel like we're flaring our rib cage. We're open across the chest and we're gliding the shoulder blades down towards the waist. Thinking about that peach between the chin and the chest to keep us into that neutral neck position. We're going to take a breath in through the nose as far as we can. As we breathe out, we're going to draw the belly button down towards the spine to engage our deep abdominals, and we're going to slide the heel away from us to straighten the leg. As we breathe in, we're going to slide the heel back towards the bottom to come back into our rest position. Again, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to engage our deep abdominals as we slide the opposite leg away from us now. As we breathe in, we're going to slide the heel back up towards the bottom. And we're going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Our next exercise is our hip twist. Starting in our rest position, our feet are hip distance apart, knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts to re-find our neutral spine, coming to rest in the middle of that range to gain that neutral spine position. We're soft in the breastbone, we're opening out across the collarbones, gliding the shoulder blades down towards the waist so the shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears, and just thinking about that peach between the chin and the chest to bring us into our neutral neck position. We're going to take a breath in through the nose as far as we can. As we breathe out, we're going to draw the belly button down towards the spine, and we're going to float the knee out to the side as far as you feel in control of the movement. As we breathe in, we're going to bring the leg back to our rest position. Again, taking a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to engage our deep abdominals. We're going to float the opposite knee out to the side. As we breathe in, we're going to come back to our rest position. And we're just going to continue alternating sides, and we're going to do this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Our next exercise is tabletop. We're starting in our rest position, feet hip distance apart, knees pointing up towards the ceiling, couple of pelvic tilts to bring us into that neutral spine position, resting between those two movements to gain that neutral spine. Softening the breastbone, opening out across the chest, across the collarbones, gliding the shoulder blades down towards the waist so the shoulders are relaxing down away from the ears. Thinking about that peach between the chin and the chest that we just want to keep in place, nodding the chin forward slightly if we need to bring ourselves into that neutral neck position. From there, we're going to take a breath in through the nose as far as we can. As we breathe out, we're going to draw the belly button down towards the spine to engage our deep abdominals, and we're going to float our right leg into our tabletop position. As we breathe in, we're going to slowly control the foot back down onto the mat, toe and then heel. Again, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to engage our deep abdominals and we're going to float our opposite leg up into that tabletop position. As we breathe in, we're going to lower the leg back down, placing the toes and then the heel down onto the mat. I'm going to keep alternating sides, working with our breathing, coming into that tabletop position as we breathe out, as we engage our deep abdominals, and then floating the foot back down onto the mat as we breathe in, toe and then heel. And we're going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Our next exercise is our shoulder bridge. For this exercise, we're going to take the towel out from behind our head. We can just place it to the side and we're going to place our head down onto the mat. Our feet are hip distance apart, knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. We're doing a couple of pelvic tilts to re-find our neutral spine, coming to rest in the middle of those two positions so we're into our neutral spine. We're thinking about softening our breastbone, we're opening out across the chest and gliding the shoulder blades down towards the waist so those shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears, and just nodding the chin forward slightly if we need to bring ourselves into our neutral spine. We're going to keep our feet hip distance apart, but we're just going to walk the heels slightly closer in towards the bottom. From there, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to draw the belly button down to engage towards the spine to engage our deep abdominals. We're going to tilt the pelvis back and we're going to slowly peel our spine off the mat segment by segment to come up onto our shoulder blades. We're going to hold there for the breath in. Then as we breathe out, we're going to bring our breastbone down towards the mat and just slowly place our spine back down onto the mat segment by segment to bring ourselves into that rest position. Again, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're thinking about engaging our core. We're squeezing our sitting bones together to engage our glutes as we peel our spine off the mat segment by segment, coming up onto our shoulder blades, holding there for the breath in. Then as we breathe out, bringing the breastbone down towards the mat, slowly placing our spine back down onto the mat segment by segment, coming back into our rest position. And we're going to continue this exercise for up to 2 minutes. Thinking about engaging our deep abdominals, squeezing the sitting bones together so we're using our glutes to bring us into our shoulder bridge position and to control ourselves back down onto the mat into our rest position. Our next exercise is our swimming exercise, and for this exercise we're going to come into our 4-point kneeling position. So we're going to have our hands out in front of us, arms are straight but the elbows are soft, feet are still hip distance apart and relaxed down onto the mat, eyes are looking down towards the mat so we keep our neutral neck position. And we're thinking about still engaging our core, so as we breathe out we're drawing the belly button up towards the spine. From there, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're engaging our deep abdominals and we're going to reach our right arm up and away from us. As we breathe in, we're going to lower our hand back down onto the mat, and then we're going to do the same on the left side. So as we breathe out, reaching the arm away from us. As we breathe in, lowering the hand back down onto the mat. We're going to keep our hands on the mat now to work our legs. So as we breathe out, we're going to engage our deep abdominals. We're going to slide the leg away from us and then lift the leg up to hip height. As we breathe in, we're going to lower the leg down, slide the leg back in. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So again, as we breathe out, engage the deep abdominals, slide the leg away from us. Once the leg's straight, we lift the leg up away from the floor. And as we breathe in, we're bringing the leg back down, sliding the leg back in. If that feels enough of a challenge, we're going to continue with separate arms, separate legs. If we feel able to, we're going to combine arm and legs. So again, taking a breath in. As we breathe out, we're engaging our deep abdominals. We're reaching our right arm, left leg up and away from us. As we breathe in, we're bringing the leg and arm back in. Again, taking a breath in. As we breathe out, engaging our deep abdominals. This time reaching the left arm, right leg up and away from us. As we breathe in, bringing the arm and leg back in. Whichever level we're working at, we're going to continue for up to 2 minutes now. Our next exercises are for our glutes. We're going to be doing these exercises in side lying, starting with our clam and then doing our lift and lower on one side, and then we'll change to do the opposite side. We're going to come into side lying, our bottom arms outstretched in line with the trunk. The towel rests onto the arm and then the head rests onto the towel, and we're using the edge of the mat to get a nice side lying position. Our hips are bent to 45, our knees are bent to 90, so our back, our bottom and our heels are all in line with the edge of the mat. We're taking our top hip away from the top shoulder, so we create a small gap between the waist and the mat, and then we're bringing our top hip forwards on a diagonal towards the mat to bring us into our side lying position, and we can just rest our hands down in front of us onto the mat. Starting with our clam, we're going to squeeze our sitting bones together to feel our glutes engage. Then as we breathe out, we're going to float the top knee up away from the bottom knee. As we breathe in, we're going to slowly lower back down, and we're going to aim to do up to 10 repetitions of these clams. Squeezing the sitting bones together, feel ourselves engaging our glutes before we start to float the top knee up away from the bottom knee, and feel our glutes working to control the top knee up away from the bottom knee, but also to control it back down again, so we don't feel like we're allowing the top knee to fall back down. Keeping into our side lying position, if we feel like we're lifting more through our thigh than through our glutes, then really just bring that top hip forwards on that diagonal towards the mat to get us into that side lying position. And working with our breathing. So as we breathe out, we're squeezing the sitting bones together, we're floating the top knee up away from the bottom knee. As we breathe in, we're slowly controlling that knee back down. That's our 10 clams. We're now going to move on to our lift and lower. We're straightening out the top leg, bringing it to hip height. From there, as we breathe out, we're going to lift the leg up towards the ceiling as far as you feel able to, and then lowering the leg back down just to hip height. And we're aiming to do 10 repetitions of this lift and lower, but working at your own level, building up to those 10 repetitions as you feel able to. We're taking the leg up towards the ceiling as far as you feel able to, but we're just bringing the leg back down just to hip height. You're not allowing that top leg to come any lower than hip height throughout the exercise. And working with our breathing, so as we breathe out, we're taking the leg up towards the ceiling. As we breathe in, we're lowering the leg back down to hip height. And that's our 10 repetitions, resting that top leg back down. We're then going to come onto our backs and then onto the opposite side to work our glutes on the opposite side. Again, in that side lying position, we've got our arm outstretched in line with the trunk. The towel rests onto the arm, the head rests onto the towel. We're using the mat to get our nice side lying position. So our hips are bent to 45, our knees are bent to 90. The back, the bottom and the heels are all in line with the edge of the mat. Top hips coming away from the top shoulders to create that small gap between the waist and the mat, and we're bringing our top hip forwards on that diagonal to get us into that side lying position, just resting the top hand down in front of us onto the mat. We're going to start with our clam, so again taking a breath in. As we breathe out, we're squeezing the sitting bones together, we're floating that top knee up away from the bottom knee. As we breathe in, we're slowly controlling that top knee back down. And we're aiming to do up to 10 repetitions of these clams. Working with our breathing, squeezing the sitting bones together as we breathe out, feeling the glutes engaged before we start to move this top leg. And again, we feel we're controlling this top leg up away from the bottom leg, but also controlling it back down again. We're not allowing that top leg to fall back down onto the bottom leg. If we feel that we're lifting more through the thigh than through our glutes, bring that top hip forwards on the diagonal towards that mat to get ourselves into our side lying position, and we should feel those glutes engaging. Squeezing the sitting bones together, top knee comes up away from the bottom knee, and then controlling that top knee back down. That's our 10 clams. We're now going to straighten out the top leg, bringing that leg to hip height to go onto our lift and lowers. As we breathe out, we're lifting that leg up towards the ceiling. As we breathe in, lowering the leg back down just to hip height. And we're aiming to do 10 repetitions of these lift and lowers. Again, we're taking the leg up towards the ceiling just as far as you feel able to, lowering the leg back down just to hip height. We're not letting that top leg come down to the bottom leg. And working at your own level, building up the repetitions gradually, aiming to build up to 10. Working with our breathing. As we breathe out, we're floating that top leg up. As we breathe in, we're bringing that leg back to hip height. And that's our 10 repetitions, resting that top leg back down. We're finishing our exercise program with our stretches, starting with our lower limb stretches. Moving to the front third of our chair. Our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles are pulled in. We're going to step forward with our right leg, straightening the leg but keeping the foot relaxed, and placing our hands just above our left knee, resting onto our thigh. We're keeping the length through our spine but bending forwards at our hips to feel a stretch down the back of the leg, and we're going to hold the stretch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stepping our right foot back now, we're going to place our hands on our right thigh just above our knee, straightening the left leg out, keeping the foot relaxed. We're leaning forwards from our hips, keeping the length through our spine to feel that stretch down the back of the leg, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Our next stretch is for our calf. We're staying at the front of the chair, our spine's in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. Stepping forwards with our right leg, our legs straight but we're pulling the toes up towards us as our heel slides away to feel that stretch in our calf. We're going to hold that stretch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then bringing the right foot back in. The same on the left side now, straightening the left leg away from us, pulling the toes up towards us as the heel slides away till we feel that stretch in our calf, and we're holding the stretch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bringing that left foot back in. Our last stretch is for our chest. Staying at the front of our chair, we're going to place the hands to the back of the chair now, keeping our spine in neutral. We're lifting our chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together till we feel a stretch across the front of the chest, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. Our next stretch is for our upper arm. We're going to move to the front of the chair. Feet are flat onto the floor, hip distance apart. Our spine's in neutral, the tummy muscles are pulled in. Placing our hand onto our shoulder, we're going to gently ease the elbow up and start to walk the hands down between the shoulder blades till we feel a stretch into our arm. We're going to hold for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then slowly easing the elbow back down. We're going to change sides now, so again placing the hand onto the shoulder, supporting the elbow, gradually easing the elbow up, allowing the hands to walk down the back between the shoulder blades till we feel that stretch into the arm, and we're holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slowly controlling the arm back down. Our next stretch is for our inner thigh. Moving to the front of the chair, we're going to step our feet just past shoulder distance apart, placing our hands onto our inner thigh, keeping our spine in neutral, tummy muscles pulled in. We're going to take the knees out to the side, putting some pressure onto the inner thigh to feel that stretch, and we're going to hold the stretch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax the legs back. Our next stretch is our side stretch. We're going to move to the front of the chair, feet are hip distance apart, spine's in neutral, the tummy muscles are pulled in. Placing our hand onto our shoulder, we're going to gradually lift the elbow, allowing the hands to walk down between the shoulder blades. From there, we're going to straighten the arm. We can keep the arm supported, or we can rest our hand back down onto our thigh. Lifting the arm up and bringing the arm over towards our head, we're going to feel the stretch down the side, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then slowly lowering the arm back down. We're going to change sides now, so placing the hand onto the shoulder, easing the elbow up, allowing the hands to walk down the back between the shoulder blades. From there, we're going to straighten the arm. Again, we can keep the arm supported, or we can rest our hand down onto our thigh. Lifting the arm up, bringing the arm over towards our head to feel that stretch down the side, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, supporting the elbow to lower the arm back down. You will feel the full benefit of the exercises, improved stamina, increased muscle strength and feeling of well-being if you are able to complete the video 3 times a week. You will feel comfortably tired following the exercises, and some muscle soreness the day after the exercises is normal.